So yeah, the internet is full of rubbish. I think we can all agree on that. It's not hard to find rubbish on the internet. Yes, and we've all seen that. Same here. I'm sure you've seen a fair load of your side of things that is just looking back, you can realize it was just trash. But there's also a lot of good things out there, of course. Now, I don't know what humanity would be like, in 10 years from now. I have a sort of idea, a glance, because of my grandparents, of course, what humanity was like without the internet. They very much stuck to their locality, their community, their farming community, actually. My grandparents, they were Dutch farmers, right on the border with Germany. So that was a fun time during World War II, I can tell you that. But they had their old photos, right? Their old white and black, grey photos. And I saw them tall, fairly lean build, but strong looking people, men and women alike, working in the fields with the horse and the plow and such. That was only 2 generations ago. Things have gone really quick over the last, what shall I say, 20 years, 30 years, etc. Let's say for 50 years, right? Like the generation of my parents. Now, I will say that being born in the 20th century myself, like right at the end of it, I often feel like I'm a bit of a bridge generation. I know that probably hasn't been brought up a lot, that term. I actually just made it up right now. But I like to call it a bridge generation. The people that were born in the first 3 or 4 years, right at the end of the 20th century. Or even if you're, from 2000 or 2001 perhaps. But I, for one, feel like I'm part of a bridge generation. Meaning you're old enough to see the newer generation going through a lot of new things that the older generation before my age isn't sure what to do about it. So yeah, I want to say that I do see a gap in understanding and perspectives of the old generation and the current generation, the young generation, and I feel like I'm right in the middle of that. And I feel for both, to be fair. I feel for the grandparents and the parents who see their children glued to screens and watching all sorts of stuff that it's not all bad stuff. Like, I found some amazing music. Now you may know this about me. I love my classical music. I love Mozart and Bach and such very characteristic composers. And where was I going with that? Talking about music. Right, but I knew about that. I got to learn about that thanks through the internet. But of course, there's also a lot of rubbish on the internet which I have not avoided exactly. But here's something that I see developing, and I would like for you to pay attention to this as well. I don't know exactly where this is going, but I can see some possibilities coming out of this. There's a lot of rubbish going on, and the internet has brought a lot of bad stuff to the image of women, the image of men, the image of relationships, the image of money, the image of politics, the image of religion, etc., etc., etc. A lot of confusion, a lot of deceit, but there are also a lot of people who want to state the truth. And I think what we're here seeing is an opportunity that I don't think has been given to humanity before. What do I mean by that? Everyone has pretty much a very similar, almost equal opportunity to learn both sides. I think what internet has done is expose using the Bible term here, the knowledge of good and evil. There's a lot of evil on there, there's a lot of good on there, and if you approach it all with an open mind, and by that what I mean is the ability to consider a thought without accepting it. Now that takes, I guess you could call it intellectual maturity, but also emotional maturity. And I've found that the best way to do that is actually you see it, Don't react to it, and first give it to God. Pray about it. And then He can say, according to His word, this is that, or that is this. One way I ask myself to determine this for myself is, if everybody did that, what would humanity look like? What would society look like? What would my relationship with others look like? If the answer is not good, or horrible, or whatever, well then I won't do it. But if it's actually adding up, well then why should I not implement that? If it actually is good, life-giving, then I might as well do it. I mean, what point is there in not doing that? So what I'm seeing here is, there's a lot of topics to talk about, but let's talk to one of the most important ones, and that is regarding relationships. We're humans, we're made for love. Men and women are meant to be together. Masculinity draws femininity, and masculinity finds femininity attractive. That's how we're made. That's how the Creator made us to be. Now, I've been trying to embrace my masculinity, right? And I know that I fall, well, not fall, I'm not going to use that word anymore, but I find myself attracted to someone who is more feminine. But there's a lot of people out there that don't know what to do about the relationships. So regarding relationships and what the internet has done, yes, it's brought a lot of rubbish. But I also see that people who have seen the bad side of things, they are now thirsty and hungry for the good side of things. And I almost want to say I foresee. Let me just put it this way, it is possible, and I foresee it is possible, that a lot of people will finally start looking for the real stuff, for what is actually good, because they've tried the bad side of things and it's led to nothing but money trouble, relationship trouble, heartache, breakups, families torn apart, children who were born from such relationships see their parents go all over the place, no stability, no peace, no righteousness, you name it. But that has made a lot of people hungry and thirsty for what is true and for what is righteous, and how things are done in accordance to the will of God. And His will for us is goodwill. Like, what did the angels sing when Jesus was born? Peace and goodwill to men. Goodwill. So I can foresee, as funny as that probably sounds, that, let me see how I can word this. It's like a tab of water running in the garden that hasn't run for a long time. Dirt has been slowly piling up, you name it, it's gotten filthy, a bit clogged up. Now what happens when you turn that tab on? The first thing that's going to come out is rubbish. But keep it running, and eventually it'll start to clear out. And I think that's what will happen with a lot of people. So don't give up. Look for the good stuff that is out on the internet. Ask God to show you His goodwill in life. And what I think you can start seeing from that is what the internet has done, and what the enemy, what evil has tried to do with internet and has done with the internet, God can just as much use for good. I foresee a lot of people will have learned from their lesson, albeit through the painful way, but as the saying goes, the burnt hand teaches the best. I foresee that. And when the time, and then I think over time, soon probably, we'll see a lot of people start unsubscribing from the bad channels and quite literally dump those, how shall I say this kindly? I almost want to say narcissistic, I almost want to say entitled channels that they think that just by their looks they are the queens or kings for that matter. But let's be fair, it's more women than men that do that. those kind of channels will be dropped. They will lose subscription after subscription by probably the hundreds and probably the thousands, because humanity is becoming thirsty and hungry for the real deal, no longer for the fake stuff. They've seen it, they've entertained it, and what looked like a good meal crumbled to dust. So I think the time is coming where the internet is going to have an incredible turnaround. We're going to see justice, truth, righteousness, true love, true guidance. I think we're going to see an outburst of that, if it's not already happening. I think we're going to see a blossoming, an outburst, a actual booming of the good things, despite everything that's going on. God's not done with the internet yet, people. So if you want to aid this process, this sort of transition of mankind, I almost want to say, I don't think God is done with humanity, in all honesty. Yes, we're seeing wars and rumors of wars. Jesus warned about that 2,000 years ago. Just because we have those rumors and wars are happening does not mean it is the very end. Nobody knows when the end is. Only God. So let's not keep telling each other, it's the end, it's the end, it's the end. You don't know. Stop being a problem announcer and start being a problem solver, a resolution. What am I trying to say here? A solution bringer. Because there's more people out there that are hungry and thirsty than you might think. So don't be ashamed to post helpful stuff on the internet, because people need it. And that's one of the things I felt doing. That's why I'm sharing these videos now. So, anything else, God? Nah, I think you got it. So keep an eye out on the internet. I think we're going to see a lot of bad things lose subscriptions and popularity, and the good things, they're going to boom and burst forth like we couldn't imagine. That is something that I see possible. So let's pray about that. Let's keep that up to good hopes, and keep supporting the channels that actually show good things yourself. Let's walk the talk. I hope that gave out something valuable as well. If you have any feedback, as always, happy to hear the comments. Well, read the comments. And yeah, catch you guys in another video. Take care, and peace be with you.